Yo, what's up friends? Welcome back to this week's video. If you're new here, what's up? My name's Nicole and I make weekly videos on personal finance, investing, self-development, and other fun and interesting stuff. A few months ago, I talked about the best high-interest savings accounts. Some things have changed since then. For this video, I'm only going to be talking about the best high-interest savings accounts offered by digital banks. So, none of the traditional dinosaur BDO BPI 0.5% high-interest account. Nah. We're talking about the banks of the future. This is how I'm going to structure this video. First, we're going to talk about the difference between high-interest savings accounts and regular savings accounts. If you already have a regular savings account, what's the use of opening a high-interest savings account? What's the difference? Then we're going to talk about digital banks, like what are digital banks and how come they can afford to give higher interest rates. And then we'll talk about the digital banks available here in the Philippines. So that includes ING, CIMB, Komo, Diskartech. And then I'm also going to share some of my thoughts about these bank accounts, my experiences. So hopefully that can guide you guys with picking your own digital bank. Sounds good? GG, let's get started. For those interested, I'm also making a video about cryptocurrency interest accounts in the future, which I'll link here once available. Earning interest with your cryptocurrency? Yeah, stay tuned. Alright, so high-interest savings accounts versus regular savings accounts. Before we can talk about all of these things, we first need to get some idea of how banks actually work. When you keep your money in the bank, for those of you guys who already have bank accounts, you might notice that you receive some free money every month. So depending on your bank, you might receive the free money either at the start of the month or at the end of the month. This is what's called the interest that you earn from keeping your money in the bank. Banks are still businesses. Businesses need to make money. And one of the main ways they make money is through loans, mga utang. They lend money to people. Depositors like you and me, we keep our money in the bank, right? So the bank uses the money of the depositors, like your money, my money, they use it and loan it out to other people. So the people who borrow money from the bank, for example, have to pay back that loan plus interest, may patong. That patong is the income of the bank. And as a reward for you, a depositor, letting them use your money, they give a portion of that interest back to you. And that's where the free money, the interest that you earn every month in your bank account comes from. Okay, goods, you guys get that? Regular savings accounts, the ones given by traditional banks, give about 0.1 to 0.25% interest per year. While the digital banks that we're about to talk about, they give about 2.5 to 4% interest per year. Okay, so how much of a difference does this actually make? So I shared this calculator in a previous video. It's by a guy named Michael Ignacio. I found him on Reddit. Let's calculate the interest, okay? So you guys can access it at cimb-calc.now.sh. Alright, let's say you have 10,000 pesos. You put 10,000 pesos in an account that gives you 0.25% interest per month, and withholding tax is 20 because all interests that you receive are taxed at a rate of 20%. The estimated net interest that you receive is 1.72 pesos per month. Okay, 1.72 pesos. If you put 10,000 pesos in an account that gives you 4%, that's a net interest of 27 pesos 0.56. 27 pesos versus 1 pesos. Do you see how much of a difference that makes if you keep your money in a high interest savings account? 10,000, let's make it bigger. So you put 100,000 in the 0.25% interest account. That gives you a monthly interest of about 17.22 pesos. If you put it in an account that gives you 4%, that's 275.56 pesos. 275 versus 17 pesos. Alright, so just take note that this calculator is just an estimate of how much interest you'll be receiving. It doesn't mean that this is the interest you'll receive in your account. It will depend on your average daily balance when you deposited it, blah, blah, blah. If you want to be like manual computation, this is how you compute for the interest that you receive in your bank account. Essentially, what you do is that you calculate the interest per day. Let's say your balance today was 100,000 pesos and the interest of the bank gives you 3%. Then you put 100,000 times 3% divided by 365. Charan! You earn 8.21 pesos today. And then it's just gonna do that every single day. So essentially, the interest is calculated per day, and at the end of the month, that's how much you receive. Alright, now, what are digital banks? So you guys have heard of online banking, right? Online banking is essentially traditional banks like BDO, BPI, Metrobank, anything that has a physical branch that offers their customers, their clients, the option to do banking transactions online, like fund transfer, paying bills, etc. With digital banks, they don't have any physical branch. All of the banking transactions happen online. So from the sign-ups all the way to like transacting, everything is done online. And this is primarily the reason why digital banks can afford to give much higher interest, because they don't have to spend money. They don't have the cost that goes into running a physical branch. Gets. Alright, now let's start with the digital bank showdown. Just some reminders. Most of the requirements to open an account with these digital banks are the same. Usually they require you to have one valid ID. They need you to be at least 18 years old, a Filipino citizen, or at least someone who resides here in the Philippines, which means that OFWs are allowed. All of these accounts are safe because they're PDIC insured up to 500,000 pesos. So don't worry. Also, interest rates can change. So some of these rates are promotional rates, which means that in the future they can change it, like they can make it higher or lower. So remember to check their websites na lang to keep updated of the latest promos. Yeah. Alright, so let's go through each of the banks. In no particular order, number 1, ING. So ING is one of the first few digital banks here in the Philippines. I personally have an ING account and I can vouch for it. So ING has a base interest rate of 2.5%. But currently, they have an ongoing promo for new clients. So if you create a new account anytime from September 1 to December 31, 2020, you'll be receiving an interest rate of 4% per annum for the first 4 months. Afterwards, it will go back to the 2.5%, but we'll see if they have new promos. So for existing clients like me, we earn a base interest rate of 2.5%, but they have an ongoing promo where if you put any additional deposits from September to December, then that additional will earn at a rate of 4%. ING doesn't require a minimum maintaining balance, and there's also no minimum balance to earn interest. So you can get that 2.5% even if it's just 1 peso on the account, 10 pesos, yeah, no minimum maintaining balance. In order to deposit to your ING account, you can either take a picture of a check or you can fund transfer from other banks. So you need to have an existing bank account in order to deposit to ING. There's no cash deposits currently. Transferring money out of ING is also free via PesoNet. ING also gives you the option to generate electronic bank statements from within the app, so you don't need to go to the bank to get the bank statement. You can just do it from the app. So the requirements to open an ING account is that you need to be at least 18 years old, you need to be a Filipino citizen or at least a resident of the Philippines, which means OFWs, you're allowed to open an ING account if you guys are interested. As for IDs, they only accept a Philippine passport, a driver's license, or a UMID card. Next, we have Diskartech. So Diskartech is by RCBC and they offer an interest rate of 3.25% interest. It's like a mobile e-wallet, parang GCash, PayMaya na rin, except you can earn interest with it. But something that I find interesting about it is that there's a referral code system. So the way for you to create an account is that you need to get a referral code from someone else, and the person who referred you will get 30 pesos and you will get 10 pesos. Yeah. And once you have an account, you can also start referring other people into Diskartech. I personally do not have any experience with Diskartech, nor do I have any referral codes. So you guys can just search Diskartech videos. There's a lot. I don't like it so much because people spam the referral codes. So if you have Diskartech, don't spam the codes in the comment section below. I will delete it. Bawal yan. Don't spam. As usual, the requirements to open a Diskartech account is that you need to be a Filipino citizen, you need to be at least 18 years old, and you need to submit at least one valid ID. Number 3, CIMB. So CIMB is also like ING. It's one of the first few digital banks here in the Philippines. CIMB is a bank based in Malaysia. They're one of the largest banks in Southeast Asia. For CIMB, there's GSave and UpSave. GSave, you can access the GSave account through Gcash, so you can access it under the Save Money option. So for GSave, you can earn an interest of up to 4% depending on the promo. So currently, they have an ongoing promo where if your balance is below 100,000, then you earn an interest rate of 3%. But if you have at least 100,000 in your account, then you can earn an interest rate of about 4% per annum. So when you first open a GSave account through the Gcash app, you only have the GSave Lite account. This has limits, it's only valid for 12 months, and your money, you can only deposit up to 100,000 into the account. In order to get those limits removed, you need to link your GSave account to the CIMB app, and once you do that, matatanggal na yung mga limits. Next, we have UpSave. It's mostly the same as GSave, except this one, you open it directly in the CIMB mobile app. Same interest rates. For balances below 100,000, you earn 3%. And if you have at least 100,000, then you earn an interest rate of 4% per year. What's cool about UpSave and GSave is that they offer free life insurance coverage up to 1 million pesos. If you have at least 100,000 pesos in your account, you're automatically qualified for free life insurance. If you're wondering if you can have both a GSave account and an UpSave, the answer is yes. I have both accounts, but if ever you want to have both accounts, you need to open a GSave first before opening an UpSave, because they have this rule that once you have an existing CIMB account, you won't be able to open a GSave. I don't know why. And if you're wondering if there's a debit card, yes, there is. You need to open the CIMB Fast or Fast Plus account in order to receive the CIMB debit card. You get the ATM card once you are able to deposit 5,000 pesos in your Fast account. They'll deliver it to your house. Next, we have Komo. So Komo is a new entrant to the digital banking space, and it's probably the first digital bank ever to be offered by a local bank. It's by Eastwest. Just for context, I opened an account last September 15 and I got verified yesterday, September 18. Let me just say that the account opening process was so smooth. I was so surprised. I did it at night and I just finished in like 10 minutes. So seamless. So your Komo account earns you an interest of 3% per annum, and you can deposit into the account with InstaPay, and you need to deposit it to Eastwest Rural Bank. For Komo, like ING, you also have the option of generating e-statements within the app. Fun fact, if ever you're wondering why it's called Komo, it says on their website that it's called Komo because it stands for Control ng Money Mo. They want to give people back the control over their money. What's also cool with Komo, unlike the Fast or Fast Plus account, they automatically issue you a debit card. No minimum maintaining balance. Like once you sign up and you get verified, they're automatically going to process you the debit card, and you need to wait about a week and they'll deliver it to your house. How cool is that? Now for some of my thoughts, I can personally vouch for CIMB, ING, and Komo because I have accounts with all three. Diskartech, I'm not so sure. I haven't experimented with it. I haven't encountered any security issues with these apps yet, so I can personally vouch for these banks. If you want to learn more about how I personally organize and use my accounts, you can check out this video here that I made previously. It's how I manage my money as a 20-year-old. If you're stressing out on which account to open, I would just say to pick one. All of these bank accounts are pretty solid. They give much higher interest rates than the regular savings accounts that traditional banks offer. My biggest advice is not to stress so much about the 0.5 to 1% interest difference between these accounts. I think a better use of your time is investing in yourself, to invest in your skills, so you can find more ways to generate more income, and then that income you can invest and save to grow you more money. Alright, these are savings accounts. They're not so much a way to grow your money, they're just a place for you to park your money while you're not using them. A better way to grow your money is really by investing them. I have a lot of videos about investing if you guys are interested. If you're curious to find out what I personally invest in, I made a video about the things I'm investing in. You can check it out here. But yeah, something to remember, a 5% gain on a 1 million peso investment is a lot larger than a 50% gain on the 1,000 peso investment. So yeah, work to increase your capital and you'll be better off in the long run. So the featured comment for this video is by F. Terence. I'm just 15 years old kaya nag-i-invest ako sa sarili ko, like pag-develop ng productive habits and focusing on improving myself every day. That's so solid. Like 15 years old, I also remember that I was trying to better myself at 15. Really focusing on yourself, developing yourself to become the best person you can be is the best investment of your time and effort. And yeah, nice job, Esther Brands. I don't know your actual name, but thank you so much. You guys can follow me on Instagram. I post stories there almost every day. Like the Facebook page, join the Discord server to talk with other members of the Bread Fam community. Share your thoughts in the comment below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of those things. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. What's the use of opening a The light! Look. Ang hirap ng mumurahing setup. Come on, girl. There we go.